What's up? Welcome to episode 12, Peon podcast. We're in double digits, getting up there. This episode is with Leah Gore, who's a baker, chef, artist, adventurer from West Virginia. She's got a wild story, but just to ruin a little bit of it, she ended up working as an intern at Noma, and it's kind of funny that this episode was always meant to come out in mid-January. That's how I scheduled it. But it's weird that it's got so much more context now that Noma is quote-unquote shutting down and becoming something like more of a research lab and a place that does like pop-ups. So it's funny. This episode has way more like depth to it because of that. And it's great hearing Leah's story because, as she'll explain, the hours are insane, but I'll let her explain. I'm not going to suppose anything about their work environment there, but I had my own feelings about it, which is that when Rene Redzepi said fine dining is not sustainable, I was like, yeah, it hasn't been forever. You've never been sustainable. That whole restaurant has always had like mountains of free labor, interns and stages going in there. And so fine dining, especially Noma, has never been sustainable. You've always had tons of free labor to make that menu happen. You know, I side a lot more with what Dan Giusti said. He used to be the chef de cuisine, I believe, or the sous chef at Noma. I can't remember. He posted like the day of, he was like traveling, you know, he runs an organization that gets good chefs and cooks into schools so that kids can have actually decent lunches. Dude's doing fucking the Lord's work out here, you know? And he said the amount of interview inquiries he was getting just about a restaurant that he hasn't worked in since 2015 was way far and above any sort of interview or publication inquiry about what he does on a day-to-day basis, which, like I said, is amazing. And it's a really difficult thing to do. And no one really gives a shit, which really sucks. You know, all they care about is the best restaurant in the world. But then, you know, this dude's over here trying to save kids from having the worst food possible and trying to also, you know, get chefs and cooks to understand that you don't have to be in an environment like that to make high quality food for people. You can do it in schools. You know what I mean? Teach kids that the value of a great, well-made meal. You know, a lot of kids don't get that. So I kind of side a lot more with that. You know, Noma's done a lot of great things. They've made a lot of things public. They've kind of like changed the game in terms of fermentation and preservation in restaurants, which I think that's done a lot more in terms of sustainability worldwide than they ever have. You know, now people have the knowledge to be able to dry things and preserve things and ferment things. And if people are really smart about it, they can actually cut costs and cut emissions and cut waste just by utilizing those, you know, ancient preservations and stuff. So I appreciate them for that, but I just don't really appreciate like world-class food in the way that I used to, you know. It was sort of a thing that amazed me, but now it's like, it's almost like it's so inaccessible and it seems so distant. It seems like it's only for the rich and the famous, and I don't know what Rene Redzepi's feeling is on that, but probably all his clientele is just that, you know. I would hope it's a lot more varied, but I suspect it's not. But who am I to say? I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting that announcement came out, and I knew that I was sitting on this podcast with Leah, who was an intern at Noma, an unpaid intern at Noma. So it kind of offers a nice context to their whole thing. I really hope that they're still not doing what they're doing, what Leah describes in this, working like 16-hour days and shit like that. Man, the restaurant industry has got to get away from that. There's got to be a better way to go about this. Working 12 to 16-hour days every day. I'm sure there's people who love doing it, but man, it's got to be a way more sustainable way to do it. Because like the older you get, you know, the less healthy it is for you. and just you end up spending your whole life in the restaurant, which I also don't think is very healthy. I think, how are you going to get any ideas? How are you going to get inspiration? How are you going to expand your worldview if you're just in a kitchen all day, every day, and then you go home and you're destroyed on your days off that you can't do anything? I don't know. Who knows, man? Maybe Nova 3.0 is just going to come out and it's going to do some insane shit. Or, everybody's just going to follow their lead and start becoming research labs and instead of restaurants. I don't know. They sort of lead the way in a lot of things, and I appreciate what they do. It's just kind of like people pay a little too much attention to it. I like to see a lot more attention on just simple, well-made food and the sustainability of restaurants in terms of labor and food waste. That would be nice, instead of concentrating on the world's best, quote unquote, best restaurant. Because you know what's going to happen. They're going to shut, quote unquote, shut down. Right. And then something else is going to take their spot, and then that's going to become the thing, and then everybody's just going to focus on that, But what these news organizations don't seem to realize is that those chefs, like I'm blanking on his name right now, but the chef at Faviken, he pretty much left Faviken and works for MAD now, also advocating for sustainability and food waste in restaurants, advocating against it, not for it. I don't know. It's a really interesting topic. I'm excited to see where things go. And I just wish there was a lot less attention on this kind of stuff, as Dan Giusti pointed out. All right. I don't know. I'll just leave it there. As always, I'm going to say there's peonmagazine.com/store if you want to buy some merch. peonmagazine.com/support if you'd like to donate, or if you'd like to join a Patreon. I'm going to start hopefully putting more stuff up there. And then lastly, if you want to just there's a link down at the bottom of this description, this episode's description, that also has a little donate button if you'd like to do that. Yeah. And I hope you enjoy this episode. It's a great conversation. Go follow Leah on socials and stuff. Go follow her at NomLeah. That's NOMLEAH. All right. Enjoy.
This is my first time doing a Zoom or any of this shit, all pandemic ever. So.
Oh, really?
Babies first.
Maybe you said you have Zoom, so did you just not use it?
No, I downloaded it a couple hours ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Expecting to use it? Yeah.
Well,
anyway, I was introduced to you by AJ Andy in Madison. How'd you meet Andy?
We actually haven't met in person. We were friends through Instagram and social media. His work's awesome. I know, right? I admire the stuff he does. So we've just kind of came to be friends through that. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I've never met him either. So we just talk a lot on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
And he did a couple pieces for the magazine and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, as I would just start at the beginning, what was your first service industry job and why?
I would probably say whenever I was 16, I had an interest in food. I knew one of the professors at a local culinary school, and she is also a small business owner in town. And I offered to help her out in the kitchen. And so it was unpaid, of course.
Yeah.
Just kind of stage, whatever you need help with in the kitchen. And also she teamed up with the high school, what is it called? It's not Home Ec, it's ProStart, maybe? I think that was the name of it. That. Well, it's where you learn how to cook in high school. It's that kind of class.
So it's just cooking, though. It's not like home economics.
Yeah, exactly. So he just kind of took us to this restaurant and as students. And yeah, that was
You were
my
free labor for the restaurant. Is that pretty much what it was?
story of my life, baby. Welcome to the service industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember like what drew you to cooking? Because was it a family thing or was it just something that you fell into?
My whole family loves to cook.
Okay.
We love to eat more. So we always talk about cooking and just food in general. I grew up watching, Iron Chef and all that stuff.
Yeah. Wait, the Japanese one or the American one?
The OG. Yeah,
Okay, good.
and the
Good.
Japanese one. Yeah, the Japanese one and the American.
Okay, yeah, I never watched the American one. I just love the Japanese one so much.
It's not as exciting. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, yeah, if the host isn't biting into a bell pepper for no reason, then it's not as good.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
But yes, so my family is very interested. Of course, my grandparents were cooks because they had to be. They had big family or whatever. And so I would learn from them, just like basic, an Appalachian dish from here, like chicken and dumplings, rolling out the dumplings, making a chicken stock, kind of the basic stuff. So
Yeah.
I learned all my basics. I feel like reading books from my grandparents, doing this high school cooking stuff. So yeah, that was kind of my first experiences. I fell in love with making bread, was probably my first and foremost thing.
That's a good thing to learn early. I'm just now learning it. So
Yeah. Takes a lot of patience.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
And a lot of intuition. So I feel like it's a thing you get better with the more you practice with. I mean, I guess with everything. That's true. But
yeah, for sure. I feel like it requires a lot more. It's like a living organism. You have to like be around it a lot to understand what's happening with it.
Absolutely.
If it's like overproof, underproof, it's like if it's the right temperature. It's a very temperamental thing, and I can't get a hold of it.
Yeah.
So, did you end up going to culinary school, or did you just go straight into kitchens?
I did. I went to a local community technical college, and I ended up loving cooking. And I did that for 2 years, just in Huntington, West Virginia. And then I worked around town at a few different restaurants. I ended up working for probably one of the most known restaurants in West Virginia, which is part of a whole resort. It's called the Greenbrier.
Okay.
Yeah, so I ended up starting at Gar Marché there, worked on there for a bit, came home, wanted to pursue it more. I was looking around at other schools that I could get more education in. I found the CIA in Hyde Park Culinary Institute.
Whoa. Is that where you end up going?
Yeah, yes.
Wow,
yeah,
holy shit, that's very prestigious.
Yeah. So I went there and it was a great opportunity. I ended up doing about a year, and then I did my externship down in it's called the Greenhouse restaurant in Cape Town, South Africa. And then I came back home and realized, I can't afford to finish this like 9 months left of this degree. So my boyfriend at the time was from Massachusetts. And so I ended up moving there for a few years. And his dad conveniently was a chef.
Oh, nice.
In Cape Cod. So in Orleans, Cape Cod. And then, so I worked there for a few years.
Wait, so at Hyde Park, are the externships really like global? Is that how you got that position?
If you want it to be global.
They have connections like everywhere around the world, pretty much? I
mean, I personally didn't, but they did. I mean, it was a personal thing. I personally wanted to travel. I hadn't traveled outside the country before. I wanted to do some traveling, and I didn't necessarily want to go to like the best restaurant in the world. I just wanted to find a cool place in the world and then work in a cool restaurant there, because I just like adventure. I like to hike. I like to bike. I like to be outside. So I chose Cape Town, which is an awesome place. Yeah. So that's how I ended up at that location.
And was that just unpaid? That's an externship that's unpaid? Did they put you up or anything like that? Or did you have to pay for everything? No, I paid for my flight out and back. But they actually provided a stipend and oh wow. And they gave me a place to stay in the resort. So it was really awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. Really I was super grateful for that. What kind of restaurant was that? Was it a high-end like Michelin place or was it a resort? Well, so they don't have Michelin down there. And okay. I think it was part of a resort. So they had, I can't remember what their system is down there actually. Okay. Because it's under like resort restaurants, not necessarily brick and mortar standalone kind of place. But it was, I would say it's of Michelin quality. It was very nice. Fine dining. Yeah, we did like ostrich tartare and like it was like encapsulations and all kinds of fun molecular gastronomy kind of stuff. That's awesome. Yeah. So that was probably my first time in that kind of setting, which I love because I love science. That's also a good place to start. Start with the most complicated stuff. Yeah. But then you said you ended up in Connecticut, Cape Cod? Cape Cod in Massachusetts. Yeah. So I moved up there because, like I said, that's where my boyfriend was from. So I moved up there, worked there for a few years, maybe like 4. And then I decided I want to pursue a bachelor's degree. My family was really pushing for it just to have a, 4-year degree. You know how it goes. Oh, hey, why were they pushing for that? Oh, you already had a degree pretty much. Yeah. Well, I mean, a culinary degree, I guess. Yeah, to some extent. Yeah. Wasn't good enough. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't mean it like that. But yeah, they just wanted some kind of bachelor's degree. So fine art is my other passion. So I jump into the fine arts and I explore like all different kinds of mediums there. Painting, sculpture, ceramics were a few of my favorites. But I ended up focusing on painting. So that's what I graduated with. So wait. So your family was pushing for a 4-year degree, but you went, I assume that they were probably pushing for that for some sort of backup plan. And you decided to go with fine art. Yeah. Which is like, I know. It's like, at least I won't be a starving artist. Yeah. That's the way I think about it. Yeah. Yeah. So were you working at kitchens at the same time you were in college? Or did you back out of kitchens at that time? I mean, I worked at Chipotle. I worked at Chipotle. How was that? It was just like a part-time whatever thing. It was a place where I could make money to pay my rent at the time and all my bills. So, but I was going to school full time, so I didn't have like a whole lot of time to focus on culinary at the same time. So I ended up doing Chipotle, and then I ended up graduating. Boyfriend broke up with me. Just life fucking sucked.
Sorry if
Oh
I
shit.
can't cuss.
No, you can curse.
Okay.
It's a kitchen industry podcast. I think
Oh,
people would be more surprised if we didn't curse.
Right. Well, I
You
cuss
know?
like a sailor, so I should have
Oh,
asked
good.
this
Okay.
first and
No.
foremost.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, my boyfriend breaks up with me. I graduate college and life sucked at the time. And I just started filling out all kinds of job applications, stages. I was trying to seek out stages and just further my culinary because, well, I also sent applications to like galleries and museums too, basically everywhere.
Yeah.
And at the time, the new NOMA 2.0 was sending out applications, I guess, for not stages, but internships and like 6-month long internships.
Okay. Was this right before the pandemic or when was this?
Yeah. So this was 2017, and I ended up leaving for Copenhagen 2019 or 2018, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. A good friend of mine was supposed to go that same time, and then some shit happened, and he didn't get to go. But yeah.
Gotcha.
So you got accepted then?
Yeah. So I had to like fill out this application with a bunch of questions. They did like a little interview or whatever, and yeah.
Wait, did you leave Chipotle off the resume? I gotta know.
No, of course not. I think it's hilarious.
Awesome.
It's fucking hilarious
to
go from that to the new NOMA 2.0. So, wait, what?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
But, yeah, so I ended up, getting my visa ready, getting, housing, finding housing, getting enough money to like, I was like, if I'm going over there to work there for that long, I'm going to take some time to actually like stay there for a year and actually get to know the culture, eat the food, chill out, hang out. So I saved up so much money. I actually ended up getting a part-time job at an art gallery, and I got a job at a local Italian restaurant. So I was like working triple. And yeah, before I went there, just to save up money to survive.
Yeah.
And then January 2018, I ended up moving over there.
So how long did you have before you left? Like, did they let you know a good amount of time before you had to leave?
Yeah, for sure. It was really organized, actually. Yeah. I graduated in May, worked up until like the end of January, and headed over there in February.
Yeah.
Once I got there, it was a bit chaotic because we were actively like kind of helping them like get the whole restaurant ready because it was in a new building, and we were like actively helping build this freaking thing.
Shit.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, no way.
Kind of nuts.
How many people were there? How many people were working there at the time?
So at the restaurant, honestly, I don't know. I don't know how much their how many staff there was.
Are we talking like in the hundreds? Are we talking like 50, 60 people or what?
Maybe 50.
Maybe 50. Okay. All right.
50, 60. Yeah. Not hundreds though. Damn. There wasn't that many people over there.
I can imagine.
Very chaotic.
Yeah, right?
Sheesh.
Yeah. How many unpaid, interns were there?
Yeah, you're right. It was unpaid. I would say probably like 30.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then as the seasons changed, there was like a new group of interns. So it was kind of like, but they had a main staff as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like like the actual paid staff who like kind of runs everything. So
Yeah.
so what do they have you guys doing? Like really menial tasks, or do they try to teach you
bit
stuff?
Of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. My favorite part was actually foraging with their forager, Christina. Just because I kind of feel like the environment around me is a little similar in not the mountainous areas of West Virginia, but like I feel like a lot of the fauna and flora is similar to that area.
Okay.
So I did feel somewhat familiar with that kind of stuff. And plus, like, again, I love being outside. So, of course, that was my favorite thing to do.
What kind of stuff were you guys foraging? Because that was, what was the menu when you were there? What was, I guess, the menu theme? It was a seafood season?
Yeah. Seafood going into summer, and then summer veg. And then fall was like wild game.
Okay.
You know, ferments and stuff.
Do you remember some of the things that had you guys doing?
Like breaking down fish, cleaning roe.
They had you guys breaking down fish? Like, oh wow, that's awesome. I wouldn't think that they would let most like interns touch proteins. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. Well, we broke that down, but of course we didn't get the last touch, you know. The actual chefs there would have like the final like touches to that dish. But yeah, I mean, the staff taught us a lot. They were a wealth of knowledge. I learned a ton about a lot of seafood that I otherwise hadn't had a lot of experience with.
Yeah.
But after working at like in Cape Town and Cape Cod, I was somewhat familiar with working with seafood and shellfish and crustaceans and all that. All that jazz.
What was the day-to-day like, I guess? Like, were you guys working like from sun up to sundown or did you? Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
Wow.
It was quite military.
Jeez.
We started at like 6 and I many times would not get home until like 9, 10, 11, 12.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. And it was, I think we had like 2 days off or 1 day off. I think we just had 1 day off. It was nuts. I don't know. They've definitely changed now.
Have they really?
I think I believe so. I feel like that was kind of because we were starting in a new area, a new building. Everyone was kind of, even though we were all like, we know what we're doing, it's like anytime you start a new business, there's always those kinks that you have to figure out. I think we were still learning like flow and just getting used to our space, that kind of thing. Yeah. So honestly, I think that's why the days were so long then. I believe they have since changed though to be like, hopefully more humane.
Have like a prep crew and a night crew or whatever. Yeah. Maybe. In some sense.
Maybe. Yeah. But maybe not like coming in at like 6. Maybe it's like 9 to 9 to 9. 9 to 9. Yeah. Maybe just 12 hours, not 15.
Not 15. Yeah. I mean, I work 12-hour days, so it's not unheard of in the industry, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So, especially in high-end kitchens. So
I know. I hate it. I hate it though.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No one should work under those circumstances. That's a lot.
Especially in kitchens. It's very demanding work.
On your mind and on your body, for sure.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. And I can imagine what was the pressure there? Did you feel? I find with a lot of high-end kitchens, it depends on the chef and the sous chefs to kind of make things a little more casual. But was it militant? Was it very tight and controlled, or were you guys able to joke around and stuff?
I would say both. It was very militant.
Just silence in the kitchen, that kind of thing?
No, we had music blasting, and we did have fun, but it was also like, get shit done. We have a lot of shit to get done, and like, do it perfect, or like, we'll skin you alive. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Did you meet some of the chefs? Like, was Renee there often, or Dan? I know Dan. I don't even know if Dan was there at the time. Dan Giusti.
No, it was after Dan. But yeah, I mean, I really respected Renee because he was there every day in the kitchen. Or like out on the floor talking to guests, or both. Like, it was really cool because he would have like his daughter like sending food out to guests, and so
that's cute. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cute. It was a really cool atmosphere to be in. Whenever it came time for service, I felt like that was actually more relaxed because I know that sounds like it doesn't really make sense, but I feel like, all the prep, all the hard work was done. Now it was time to basically just put everything together.
Yeah. And does it kind of go through waves because it's tasting menu? Like, everybody's just hands on one dish and then it goes out, and then.
Yeah.
Is that the way it was?
Yeah, all hands on deck, but everyone's not working on one dish. It's like there were kind of groups. Like, first course started, take it out. Second course started, so it was kind of in waves. It's like an orchestra.
I bet. Yeah. You said you stayed there for like, what, 6 months? Did you get to eat any other places? Copenhagen's got some of the best restaurants in the world.
Yeah. I got to eat at Iluka, which is a really awesome seafood place. I try to eat as much like local cuisine as possible, which was like open face sandwiches, tartines, and like a lot of seafood because it's coastal.
A lot of smoked fish, right? Isn't that
a lot of smoked fish. Yum.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like all the seafood, all the time.
Did they let you eat a meal there? Did you get to actually sit down and experience the restaurant?
Yep. They let me eat a meal there. It was awesome. I'm glad they do that because obviously it's really important to know what you're working so hard to be doing, Yeah. It's good to like taste and understand like the different nuances and ingredients and preparations that you're doing.
Yeah. It's also really helpful to see what the flow of service feels like for a customer.
Yeah, right? So like, and see, and experience the service and the staff, and so it was really awesome. Yeah.
I got to ask you though, and we could take this out if it's bad, but does it live up to the hype? Like, is it, because everybody looks to Noma as like the model. Did it live up to the hype?
For the food experience or for the work experience?
Well, I guess we can go both, but let's go food first, I guess.
Food, absolutely. Fuck yeah. Yeah, the food, the ingredients, the preparations, like the knowledge of how to use these ingredients, the farmers, the landscape, like everything is so beautifully like curated that it's just like, absolutely. The service is great. The wine pairings, the juice pairings, the ferments, I'm not just saying this too, but it really is. It's really, really good.
Okay.
So, yes.
Nice.
I recommend it.
if any cooks can afford it, it's not a cheap
That's
meal.
why I cook, because I can't afford to eat there.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And the work experience. Obviously, I can.
Prob's not gonna do it again.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Once is enough.
I mean, I'm grateful that I did it because obviously the experience, I learned a lot. I learned a lot of discipline, and just I met a lot of people. That was great, but also it took a toll on my mental health. I just needed a fucking break.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
can
long
imagine.
ass break. I was fucking tired and just like, all right, let me just have a regular life for a second.
Yeah, yeah. That's an extreme thing to ask somebody. Like 6 months of work, working 12, 15 to 16-hour days.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. Yeah. So where did you end up after that? Did you stay in Copenhagen for a little bit, or did you head straight home?
So like I said, I wanted to stay there for at least a year if I was gonna, hang out there. So I ended up, it was in like summertime. So I ended up working at a few festivals. I worked at a rave festival.
What do you mean, like catering?
No, well, I worked with local restaurants and bars.
Okay.
And like I was a bartender at a rave, which was cool. I've never been a bartender before. Learned that and got a taste of, a European rave, which was fucking great.
Yeah.
And I worked with a ramen shop, which was awesome. We cooked at a music festival. I worked with an arepa place.
Okay.
And that was at a music festival. So I was just kind of like scoping out culinary options in the city, like little gigs.
How did you find these gigs? Was that through Noma staff, or did you just
found them? How'd you find these? I just would look on like Facebook for like local events that was cool.
Okay.
Like I got into this, like all these places, if you work there, you get free access into the event. So that's why I did all this, so that I could like go to all these music festivals.
Yeah.
And see all these artists for free.
Yeah.
So, and get free food.
Yeah.
So like, and usually get free beer. So it's, social media can be a gift sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
What sort of bands did you see? Do you remember some of the festivals? Because you're past some crazy fucking festivals.
I think some of the coolest ones. I mean, I saw Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath play. I saw Brockhampton, Big Thief.
Okay. So these were like bigger festivals, like really big acts. It wasn't like tiny.
Yeah, it was festivals. Big stuff.
Okay.
But of course they had like smaller little acts in between.
Yeah.
That's all I can remember right now. Sorry.
That's awesome. No worries.
Yeah.
And where'd you end up after that? Did you want to go home? Oh, nice. I've seen them too. They're great. They
are great. Sorry, what was your question?
Did you head home after that, or did you want to head home, or did you kind of have to head back to the US?
So I stayed after the summer into the fall. Worked with the forager some more.
That's awesome.
Noma. So I helped them with some of the fall stuff they needed. We went like to ant hills to harvest ants.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like we went to get like roses from the beaches and just little herbs here and there, sorrel out of the forest and all that stuff. So I ended up doing that for a while. Really just kind of did whatever I wanted to. I found a love for jazz there.
Okay. Is there a jazz scene there?
There is.
I didn't know that. Okay.
In just all throughout the city. There's a lot of jazz. Okay. I loved it. It was awesome.
Oh, nice. Like bebop jazz or more like orchestra jazz? Like what kind of jazz?
Like orchestra jazz.
Oh, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah.
I just kind of hung out until like late November, and then I finally got a job at Juno, the bakery there. Like I staged for like a week, and then I found out I got a job, and then we tried to get my visa all set up to where I could stay for the job, and then something didn't work out. I don't know.
Oh no.
But I had to go back home. So damn. I left there, got back home in December of 2018. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I got a job at a flower shop.
Okay. Right before the pandemic hit?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I was a florist. Total career change.
Well, I mean, you went from Chipotle to Noma, so I feel like it's
true.
Only natural that
True.
You switch it up.
So I ended up working there, and then I ended up moving up to the manager and like the main floral artist there. Uh-huh. And so I was in charge of like florals for weddings and events and just everyday kind of stuff. I grew to love that so much because I could use my art brain, and I could also use like kind of the foraging brain as well, because I did like to add in a bunch of like mushrooms or like pine cones and just like some local tree branches and that kind of stuff into it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this was like a local small business. So I was just kind of like, I feel like we were kind of growing into a style, like we were finding a style for this business because it was only open for like 3 years or so.
Okay.
Anyways, I did that for like 3 years, and then I quit, and I've been doing this Jack thing ever since.
Yeah.
I'm doing a micro bakery.
Yeah. How did that come about? And it seems like that's you hit it at the peak time when everybody was looking for baked goods.
Well, I mean, I had been kind of baking as like a side gig ever since I was at the flower shop. So I had already been like doing breads and cakes and whatever someone needed. My obsession with sourdough, I think, started in like 2014.
Okay, so
for some reason,
you didn't just jumped the bandwagon during the pandemic like everybody else.
Yeah. And so, I quit in like October, and I ended up starting the micro bakery full time after that, and I've been going since then. I just had like my 1 year anniversary in October.
Oh, nice! Congrats.
Thanks.
Congrats. So wait, so what does that entail? Like, are you cooking things at home, or do you have a commissary? Is it just you?
So it's just me.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I am front of house and back of house. But I run, it's actually in the style of a cottage bakery. And so West Virginia has laws to where, actually, I think every state has some version of this law. But West Virginia has pretty lenient laws whenever it comes to shelf-stable food sold out of your home.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So that is...
You definitely can't do that in Texas. For sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the Texas laws.
Yeah.
But
very strict.
So I worked up a menu, and I made a website. Came up with the name for it. It's called Jack. It's named after my grandfather. His name was Jack, and he actually used to be a master baker.
Okay.
And
Cool.
he had his own bakery in southern West Virginia in Bluefield.
Did you ever get to go to it? Were you, was that where
No,
your baking started? No?
no, I did
Damn.
not, because it burnt down
Oh, shit.
in the 80s, 85 or 86. And I never got to experience that.
Oh, shit.
So I just kind of learned through stories, like family stories, and what he would tell me. Yeah, that kind of sucks that I never got to experience that. But that's also kind of what my little logo represents. It's like a chair, but it's like kind of cut in two. So it's kind of distorted.
Yeah.
So I like to explain that as like a little distortion in memory.
Okay.
You know, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Like the bakery, your grandpa's bakery is kind of living on through memory alone.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty cool.
it's kind of like a homage to my grandfather in his bakery.
Nice. That's awesome.
But I make things that are maybe nostalgic, but basically I pretty much make what I want to eat.
Yeah.
So
do you do mainly like you said menu? So are you selling out of somewhere, or do you take special orders, or how does that whole thing work?
yeah, so it's like a special order kind of situation.
Okay.
I've since kind of adjusted my format for orders since like October of this year. So I have like a full menu, sweet stuff and breads, savory and sweet.
Yeah.
And sweet stuff being like tarts and cookies, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like special orders every week, like Thursday through Saturday. They were pre-ordered, so I would never have to overbake something and waste.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
really what I wanted to focus on, is like no waste.
Yeah.
And
Wait, so are you cooking all of this out of your home?
yes.
Or do you have a commissary? Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. Out of my apartment.
Jeez.
It's not even a house. So I have very minimal space.
That's
But
insane.
I mean, whatever. Like,
Okay. Yeah, fuck
it is insane,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
It is insane. I'm
That
not
is
even
crazy.
gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So how much are you cooking out of your apartment?
I mean, enough to pay my bills, which I have
Shit.
a lot of bills. So, but it's been an interesting journey because I'm not only like developing my cooking skills, but I'm kind of learning all aspects of running a business.
Mm-hmm.
So I've adjusted prices accordingly since I've started. Of course, with like inflation and everything with ingredients. But also because everything's like everything seems to be pretty time consuming, and I can't do a whole lot, but I'm pretty amazed at the amount of shit actually that can come out of here with a basic like electric stove top and like oven, and that's about it.
Yeah. Do you have a standard, or do you take do people just create shit and you have to like make it work?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, do they just decide what you're going to cook, or do you have a menu and
I had a menu.
Okay.
I had a menu. So people choose from my menu.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Unless they have like a special request. Like someone wanted like cannolis one time, and so I made them a big batch of cannolis, even though it's not like on my menu.
Yeah.
If I have the time, I'll definitely do a special thing. But
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But now I've kind of changed to like a monthly box, kind of like a CSA. Except for baked goods. So I'll do like a combination of sweet and savory food that is a complete surprise. So no one actually knows what they're getting. They're just
That's awesome.
paying a certain amount of money, and then they come and pick it up from me once a month. And
That's cool.
anyone can do it. It's gotten to the point where they've like sold out within a day. So that's pretty cool for me.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, that seems to work for me, because that kind of gives me more time to like really curate a menu that I'm excited about.
Yeah.
And it lets me be creative and go like source the ingredients. It just makes more sense for the kind of lifestyle I have right now.
Yeah. Do you find that, are you using any of the stuff you learned at Noma? Are you foraging for stuff and making baked goods?
Yeah. Or? I mean, I wouldn't say like I learned how to forage at Noma. Like, I've always been an outside person. I always try and look for like edibles outside and around me. So yeah, absolutely. That's a major part of what I do. Well, I also do some catering, but like the other day I found a local miller for corn. And so cool. I get some corn meal from them, and I'll do like a cornbread. I've used sumac to make like some sumac and strawberry donuts.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I've used local berries and that kind of stuff, spice bush, sassafras root, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine, like you said, the Appalachian area is pretty fertile for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
Definitely underrated in terms of the amount of produce it offers, I think.
Especially in the summer, it's pretty lush. Wherever you look, you can probably find like a blackberry vine somewhere. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a interesting landscape to kind of delve into foraging more.
Mm-hmm. Do you use any other sort of stuff you learned to know? But like, are you fermenting anything then, or you just
not as much as Andrew, but geez, like for example, I'm just making some apple cider right now with some leftover apple pills and apple juice. So I'm doing that right now. Yeah. I mean, I learned a lot of techniques from Noma that I still use for sure.
Yeah. But I feel like that's really all you need. People talk about recipes, but I think just learning techniques is really where you can do anything after you've learned the technique.
Exactly. If you understand the technique, I think the world is your oyster.
Exactly.
You can be creative after that, for sure.
For sure. So what's next for you? Are you just gonna keep baking out of your apartment, or are you gonna get like a place, brick and mortars, staff? What's next for you?
I'm trying to figure that out right now. I know I have a few goals for myself. I would like to go to a bakery and maybe learn some more techniques. I want to delve more into lamination and
nice.
I don't have a sheeter here, but like if I did, I'd be all in it right now.
Yeah.
But I would like to delve even further into the sourdough and more European breads, baguettes, croissants, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I also would like to learn more about the business side before I invest in my money and time and energy into a brick and mortar. So
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So especially during the pandemic, it's just a little, I don't know how it is over there in Texas, but it's definitely, I think it's true to say like it's hit the entire restaurant industry pretty hard. So it's like, do I take that leap? Do I kind of delve more into the education of my business and that kind of stuff first? So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. Austin's kind of weird in that the pandemic hit everything hard, of course, but we've had like a huge influx of people coming because Austin's the hot new shit.
Yeah.
So businesses have just been popping up like crazy, even during the pandemic.
Really?
Restaurants were popping up everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. It's a little oversaturated, but I would hope that the brick and mortar kind of thing is kind of dying out, because I think like people waste too much investment and money into these things, and then they get bloated. They don't have enough staff. I think the way to go is what you're doing, and like, or like restaurant sharing, like Mission Chinese used to do in San Francisco, like sharing spaces and having multiple restaurants in one space. It seems a lot more sustainable than just getting a brick and mortar just for the sake of it. Right?
Yes, so. I agree. I couldn't agree more. Another reason is I like my freedom. I like not having to work every day of my life, you know?
I'm jealous.
Well, I mean, I'm struggling financially, but like, well, I'm like teetering on okay, but like, I still get to be creative. I still can go travel. If I want to, I can just like shut it off. Like I can schedule my year. It's just, I'm trying to find that balance of like, okay, where do I actually want to set my energy? Like I've worked the hard hours at restaurants and stuff, and that's just not the kind of life that I want to live. You can still make good product and kill it and not have to work your ass off and suffer like mentally and physically from that. So I'm just trying to figure that out.
I think the whole industry's in that same boat.
For sure. There's definitely a big shift in mindset, and we still have a lot to go, but I think we're moving in the right direction for sure.
I mean, it's kind of forcing. I think young people are forcing it that way anyway, because no one wants to work anymore. So it's kind of going in that direction anyway. It's gonna be an interesting year up here. So
I need to check out Austin. I've never been to Texas.
No, it's I don't know what to think of it now. I've been here for like 12 years, so it's grown from like this tiny little cool hip spot with like a lot of live shows and dive bars and shit, and now it's like all the dive bars are trendy, so like it's not really any sort of grit to it anymore, which I miss. But it is the hot thing right now, so we got all the coolest new restaurants and stuff.
Nice.
But
I kind of feel like West Virginia's we're still in that like starting stage, so like
it's a good place to be.
No one knows anything about West Virginia. It seems that way. Like there's not really a restaurant scene here.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like, it's still kind of DIY, like kind of underground or whatever. Are there not any like high end restaurants or anything like that? Is it still pretty low key?
Yeah.
Pretty low key.
Okay.
But like, if I want a nice meal, I'll just make it for myself. It's not like a place. There's a few like pretty good restaurants around here, but they're nothing really high end. Yeah. So trying to change that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good spot to be in. I think instead of having to fight through the current of bullshit, you actually get to create a scene instead of
that's kind of why I'm here too.
That's really cool.
Do you
have a good crew of people like there that are trying to do that, or are you just spearheading the whole thing?
No, I would say it's like a handful of people.
Okay.
We got I think one of my favorite duo, Amy Dawson and Mike Costello up at Lost Creek Farm in West Virginia. They're doing some cool stuff. They got nominated as like a James Beard finalist last year. So
cool.
That was really major for this state.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened before. We don't have Michelin.
Yeah.
Anything
Everybody
here.
forgets about West Virginia, I think. Yeah.
So that was really cool. I got to make dinner for them a few weeks ago.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. But honestly, that's kind of it.
Shit.
Yeah, there's not many people really, I don't know, pushing for high-end stuff around here.
Yeah. Then there's no I guess not even high-end. Is there nothing like cool or innovative happening?
Exactly. No. Yeah. Innovation, there's not much innovation.
No.
And I wouldn't say it's not here. I just feel like maybe everyone thinks the audience just maybe doesn't want it.
Yeah.
It doesn't sell as good. So it's taking a risk to be creative in a place like this.
Yeah.
When it comes to food.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. I never even thought about that. Yeah. But do you find that a lot of people are leaving town? Do a lot of people just leave town and no one's really coming back to support it? Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember the percentage, but there's a large group of people that leave town, like my age, like part of the younger crowd, usually graduate and get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. That's why I'm here, to kind of change that.
Creating the whole scene on your own. Yeah.
Oh.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we'll leave it there. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out, talking and stuff. That was great talking to you. I'll let you know when this is up, and thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you, Zach.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.